Hello and welcome to another Scrolls video from 4Games, where today we will be focusing on the blue order deck as opposed to the green growth deck we were featuring yesterday. This deck plays a bit differently. It has sort of better creatures, and its combat tricks focus around movement primarily, as opposed to buffing the attack power of your creatures, which is what green tends to do. That said, the deck still does that in buffing your creatures and such, but there are a lot of cards in blue that increase your movement and such. I'm not actually playing them because they're quite bad, but I think that's what the colour identity of this deck's supposed to be, is around trickery and movement around the board and such.
Yeah, but I mean, if you want to get started on ranked match, we'll just start the game. That's what we're going to be doing with these videos, guys, just playing some ranked matches. I'm not really sure that... I suppose at the moment you're right with your description of the blue deck, but in time that could change, because if you look at the evolution of Magic and Magic the Gathering as a card game, there's just so much scope to kind of build your own style of deck, even though traditionally some colours have certain attributes, like red is sort of associated with burn and green is creatures and blue is control. Maybe this game will sort of have similar sort of colour styles, but yeah, your assessment of blue's pretty fair.
Indeed. I think... Yes, I believe the blue identity is supposed to be sort of around battlefield trickery or whatever. Right, now first time I'm going to drop this crossbowman here.
Yeah, a fairly decent start hand.
Well, the crossbowman is, you'll notice immediately, it has 4 power, which is quite ridiculous for a 1-drop. The trade-off is it only attacks every 3 turns. So I want to get it out early so I can start dealing damage with it as often as quickly as possible. These guys are mainly in the deck because they're one of the few ways you can of getting rid of a spiky creature profitably without actually killing off your own guys in the process. My opponent seems to have a bit of a slow start compared to me, so I'm going to get rid of this speed and run out Silas, the crazy zealot. This guy is quite handy. He's basically a 1/1 for 1, you can play it early, and he has sacrifice attack. In this case you will just literally sacrifice him and he will deal 2 damage to a target of your choice. It's quite handy. Just basically very good at dealing with totems that buff attack power and just low toughness creatures in general.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you guys just saw then that Tom sacrificed 2 cards that weren't much use to him at the start of the game. His first sacrifice was a 6 mana cost creature, which is obviously just no point having in your hand on turn 1. Yeah, I mean, this is just going to be a blue v blue game, so this game is pretty much going to be whoever wins this game will be based on 2 things: whoever's built their deck better and whoever gets better luck on the draw. So I'm hoping that's Tom.
So I think I'm going to get rid of this Royal Infantryman here simply because I don't think I'm going to have a chance to play it.
These Royal Skirmishers have an ability called Relentless, which is the same as the ability called Trample in Magic the Gathering. It just means their damage carries through. So if they're attacking, if they have an attack power of 3, which this creature does, and he attacks a creature with a health pool of 1, 2 of his attack will carry through.
Right, now here are the spiky creatures. The dreaded spikers. Now, fortunately for me, my crossbowman is going to be able to just take this guy out with no ill effects felt. And I then have the option of what to do next. I can either play my 3/4 in the front row, which will eat an attack from his 3/3 guy here, which is going to attack next turn. That's going to be seen from the flashing. Or I can...
Well, I mean, potentially you could bonk and sacrifice it.
I could just kill it, so that's definitely a play. If I do that, I'm going to sacrifice this, I think, for some cards. Or actually, I'll sacrifice this to get some cards. Then we could bonk here. Use the sacrifice attack to kill this off. Then my Crossbowman will get rid of his spiky guy, and I'm in good shape.
Yeah, that looks pretty good. That seemed like a good turn to me.
Now I have my own spiker, Royal Spearman. One of these dual Decal skirmishers can come down next turn, which is probably what I'm going to do. Alright, so he's starting to kabonk my guy down. But this crossbowman's already fulfilled This crossbowman's already fulfilled his duty. He's got in an attack. So I'm going to sack one of these skirmishers for mana, play another one in the front row, beat down on his center idol. Next turn I can play a spearman in whatever row he chooses to attack. I also have this guy. I like these guys because they buff all the units in the same row. So if I were to place one in this row here in place of this crossbowman, these guys' attack would both go up to 4. So these are fairly useful. Now, for now we'll just nug him for 3.
Or as Megatron would say, synergy!
It's very synergistic. And look at him, look at his moustache. He is rocking an epic moustache. For that reason alone, this guy deserves a place on my team. Alright, so we've got another skirmisher of his own. So now I can probably afford to play probably a spearman and this infantryman here. We want this guy's going to die to the crossbowman. Well, these guys are all going to attack next turn, so he's going to have to do a lot of stuff to survive. My suspicion is he's probably going to play a spiky guy here, where I've got my mouse now, to try and cover his guy. So if he does that, I'll probably move these guys out of the way, let the crossbow take care of it. And well, in fact, we might want to prepare for this eventuality. If we move here, and we can move up here, then if he plays the spiky guy, I can move this guy in behind, and we can kill this guy or deal some damage to it.
Yeah, let the crossbowmen attack first. Yeah, if anyone's wondering, the reason why the crossbowman is immune to the spiky damage is because they are classed as a ranged attacker, so they obviously don't get hit by any sort of spikes that may be on the other person's armour. I mean, what we'll do with these videos is we will start to explain things less and less. It's just this is the second video we've done, so we might have some new viewers that are still a bit sort of confused or lack a bit of understanding in this game.
Alright, that's slightly annoying. He decided to just go all in on his guy here. Put a bunch of enchantments on it. Was able to take out my front row creature, but I think we're okay because like plate armor reduces the damage dealt to it by 1, so this crossman will hit him for 3, this guy will hit him for 2, so he's going to die, and all his enchantments are going to essentially be going to be wasted. So we now have an option. I think we're going to, I don't actually like these plate armors, so I'm going to sack this, probably play Shrine or Spearman and Infantryman. If we make probably best use of our Infantryman is by playing him here in the front row. We can buff the attack of this guy, so this guy's going to kill the skirmisher flat out, and then we can play another spearman up here.
Yeah, you're so far ahead on board. And that shrine is a really nice structure for 3 mana.
Essentially what I've done in the structure department is my deck runs 3 waking stones, which we saw from before, and my opponent has given up the ghost. So I get some gold,
yep,
and some rating, and that was so quick. I think we can probably do another one.
Yeah, let's cram another rank match in this video quickly. We are sort of planning on doing 1 match per video, because these matches in these games, because there's no graveyard and you can just keep going through your library over and over again, the matches do tend to drag on a bit. But with a quick concede, let's go for another one.
So my opponent primarily lost that because, well, for a start, he didn't really have a very good start. He didn't play anything until turn 3, by which point my 1-drop crossbowman, which I played right at the beginning of the game, was able to get in an attack, kill off his 3-drop that he played, and from then on he was always struggling, and making plays like going all in on one creature with multiple enchantments do not often help too much. Right, so here we've got...
So you've got a pretty decent start here again.
Yeah, it's not as good a start as I had before. I'm probably going to sacrifice one of these 4-cost guys, because I'm not going to be able to play it for a long time anyway. Chances are I'm going to be able to sort of draw into more creatures by the time I get to the stage of playing this. Right, so he's played a Simmark Zealot of his own. Slightly annoying.
Which is pretty much going to be your first turn as well.
Which is mirrors, but his one came down first, so it's going to get the opportunity to sacrifice. So I suppose it's fine if he uses it to ping my guy, then we've essentially just traded Zealots. We'll be even on Zealotry. So I've drawn 2 of these summons, so I'm most likely going to sacrifice one of these next turn, because I don't want to. The reason I have these in the deck...
Especially seeing as you already have a shrine in your hand.
Yeah, the reason I have 2 of these in my deck is because when it comes to walls, the only walls I ever want to be drawing are either shrines or waking stones. I don't want to draw crappy obelisks and stuff like that. Right, now this guy's going to attack into my Zealot and kill it just with a normal attack as things stand. So I might have to Frostwind to stop it, and then use my guy to kill his crossbowman probably. Because I don't want this guy just getting beaten down normally. That's just going to waste it. So we'll sacrifice this, we'll Frostwind
You don't really have too many
these guys.
options.
Now Frostwind, what it does is you cast it, it increases the cooldown of his guys by 1. So now that guy was able to attack this next turn, now it can't. So hopefully, unless he hastes these guys, I'm going to be able to use my guy to ping his crossbowman probably, before his guys get a chance to attack. We'll see what he does though.
Well, speed is a 3 mana cost card, and I'm sorry for everyone who's looking into this game and not Magic Gathering, but I pretty much now am so stuck in the routine I can't call it anything other than mana, even though I know it's order resource, growth resource, or whatever.
Okay, so use speed.
Oh, what do you know?
Which is fine.
He's gone and played speed.
He's on speed, my opponent. Alright, so now we can...
I did say it was a 3 mana cost card.
Oh, he could have had Blessing of Haste as well, but he used the card to do that, so I don't. It's fine. It's better than losing my guy to a free attack from this. So I'm going to throw this away and then play Waking Stones here in the middle there. He's going to have to take a little while to grind through that, since all the damage done to it is reduced to 1. So Zealot can take a point off it next turn, but I think we're okay with that.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so he's played a Skirmisher of his own. I've drawn a Royal Vanguard, which is not ideal. Probably going to sack this for resources. Play my own Skirmisher. My hope is that I can start tearing through his line here, since he has to grind through his Waking Stones and I don't.
It's a difficult situation because effectively, looking at it, you could say he's ahead on board, but Waking Stones is a really powerful wall, and I know your deck's fairly well constructed, so it's just going to be a question of what draw you get, really.
Right, so Silas is going to go again. I'm probably going to kabonk Silas here, because he's going to take a chunk out of my wall. I'd rather he didn't. Alright, so focus isn't massively useful. What I'm probably going to do is make a shrine that will buff the health of this, so that even if he moves both of his guys down here, it's not going to die next turn. Then my guy can attack, hopefully kill his crossbow, or something. I mean, I quite like the focus to have in my hand for next turn when this guy can attack. Because it has trample, chances are it can tear through a couple of guys. But I really think I want to play the shrine this turn. Although maybe not. I mean, maybe I don't care about losing this wall.
Safe.
He can attack twice. If he moves this guy down, or this guy forward, and that guy down, what happens? I can focus. This guy comes a 6 power attack, so it'll go through this and it'll kill both of them. So that's actually really good for me. I might actually just leave it there.
The only reason I like defending the middle row is because if they go for your top 2 lanes and take them out, but then your middle row is so heavily defended, they actually have to move across the whole board to then work their way on another idol. So I think the middle row is quite a good row to sort of try and defend.
It definitely is. A lot of the time players they'll just go all in and try and beat down your bottom rows, and the best thing you can do is just to ignore it, because as long as you've got the top or bottom 3 rows locked down, there's nothing they cannot actually win.
Yeah. Players, I've seen players get very heavily invested in taking out an idle row that I've just
Alright, that's pretty annoying.
let go. Yeah, that's a shame.
Alright, the shrine
And
is
your
useless
draw's not
now.
great here either.
Right, we've got a spearman.
Focus is useless.
We can run that guy out. This guy is probably going to get sacked next turn. So this guy's not going to do anything really useful. He's going to do a bit of damage to one of these bottom idols, which I'm fine with.
You may notice as well that in these ranked matches, whether it's myself or Tom playing, there are an awful lot of blue decks. Blue decks seem to be the most common deck to come up against, and there is a reason for that. It's because it's the best deck. I'm hoping that in future patches, Mojang fixes that.
Yeah, there is a bit of... I quite like some of the cards in the red deck and the green deck, but the problem is this colour has a lot of very efficient creatures. These 3 mana cost guys, which have trample, relentless, are very, very good at tearing through your opponent's rows. Right, so we draw something not terribly useful, which is pushback. Returns a creature to its owner's hand. I could return this guy since he's about to attack, but I don't really see the point. So I'm going to sack this, or the general, probably this, for some more cards. I'm hoping to get, yeah, another spiky spearman is a pretty good draw here, because it means I can just hold down a row. Right, that guy's
Just move him
attacking.
back one and put him in the front square, probably.
Well, this guy also has spiky, so I suppose it's better when this guy, if this guy attacks. If we just play that, and then we've got a skirmisher as well, which you can run out next turn. You probably sack the general or the focus for some cards. Or potentially we might be able to use the focus to take something out. We'll see what he does. My betting is he probably moves this up or down 1 to avoid killing itself on the spike.
I would imagine so.
But you never know, he might just try and feel he's ahead enough to just try and grind through.
I've noticed your avatar has a very superior
Oh, she does.
superiority complex. She's got her nose turned up.
She's just like, yes, I'm order. No, I can't really lose. I've got all the best creatures. Alright, so he's hasting that guy to take out my spear. See, a lot of this has come down to him having an early crossbowman and me not. That crossbowman's done a lot of work for him. Okay, so we can either frostwind, we can waking stones, we can run this guy out, but I don't see the point. Otherwise he'll probably just get killed. I'm going to crack this for resources, I'm going to drop a waking stones here,
I mean, you could actually wake
and then I'm going to frostwind his entire team to buy some tempo.
Yeah.
It's going to take a lot
That's
for us
what
to
I was
come
going to
back.
suggest anyway was... It will, yeah, but I was going to suggest your turn then should have been dropping the waking stones and frostwind his whole team as well, so... Unlike we've just discussed, holding on to the middle row is more important than losing that idol at the bottom. We can ignore that lane if we need to.
So unfortunately he's got 2 of these crossbows now, which they're difficult for me to get to unless I draw a couple of kabonks to try and take them down, which would be quite pleasant. I also have this general which can possibly come out next turn, although without a lot of other units this guy is not terribly impressive. Essentially this guy has 6 casting cost for a 4/6 with attacks every 3 turns, but when it attacks, it decreases the cooldown of all surrounding units by 2, so it can potentially cause a lot of swings in tempo. Wow, now our opponent seems to have disconnected.
It's a shame.
Hopefully he'll come back. Well, this will be a rather anticlimactic affair. So another issue with this game is you can't elect to perform what is known in Magic as a mulligan, which is essentially you send your hand, if you draw a hand it's not very good, you then can elect to draw a new hand, the penalty of of drawing one less card. I don't know, but I definitely prepared to have one less card in this game and an early crossbowman than what has happened. Okay, so our opponent has reconnected, flipped my guy over here. Well, flip is a spell that you choose a unit and you move it to anywhere you want. It's very good at dealing with walls, as you can see, because you just move the wall to somewhere you don't care about. So that wall is now pretty much useless. I can't move this anywhere else. It's basically stuck up there for the rest of the game, doing nothing.
Yeah, he's definitely in a stronger position than you.
Right, so I've just drawn this Royal Infantryman. I have the option of either playing this guy out. Well, I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to move this guy forward. I'm going to play my skirmisher and my infantry here. This will buff the health. This guy acts as similar to the Ducal infantryman from earlier. All the creatures in the same row have 1 health. So this guy has 5 health. This guy has 4 health and spiky. So this guy can survive an attack from this and deal it 2 back. So next turn, it's a slightly better play, I think, than playing a general, which isn't going to do a lot without a lot of other extra creatures to buff.
Exactly.
But this general is likely getting
kind
sacked.
of a nice play with the general. Yeah, one of the nice plays with general, if you have the resources to be able to perform it, is to drop a general and then pop like a blessing of haste or speed down on it to immediately basically give your army a second attack.
Yeah, I mean that's the best case scenario with these generals, is use them with effects that decrease their cooldown, because on their own they're dreadfully slow. I mean, three turns is a lot to wait for the effect they give. I mean, the colours each have these high casting cost creatures. The green that costs the Kinsfolk Jarl from Sweden. And that guy does nothing, just a slow big beater. The red deck has a large 7 mana, 7 power, 7 health creature that attacks every 3 turns. I'd probably say that's the worst of all of these high casting cost creatures, because it's so easy to deal with it. It will only attack.
It does have trample though, doesn't it?
I believe so, but it's so slow that it's incredibly easy to get rid of it before it can do anything. Or you can just flick it to somewhere, you can bind it in a row you don't care about. Right, my opponent's run out of time on his turn, so presumably this guy is just going to run in.
I'm not convinced. Yeah, but I'm not convinced that your opponent's actually fully reconnected. I think you may be playing against...
You may well be right.
Yeah.
Okay, he's just DC'd. So we were probably not going to win that game. So we were somewhat lucky our opponent disconnected, I suppose. It's not really luck, but we could come back. Depends. There were cards that we could have had that would have enabled us to come back, I think, but we weren't
What I'm
favoured.
interested to note there, though, is that you actually won the game and there was almost like a concession. I'm wondering if that's been patched in, because previously if someone disconnected, you did not win the game. They didn't concede, you just played against a disconnected player.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes more sense, I suppose, to have the player just go. I mean, because otherwise you're just trusting the AI to finish the job. And let's be honest, the AI has made some questionable decisions when I've played against it in the trials, for example.
Oh god, yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching this, guys. I'm sorry it was a bit of a disappointing 2 games. Hopefully we'll get to show you some more, and it would be nice to play against a different deck other than blue all the time.
Yes, it does seem that blue is by far and away the most popular deck choice at the moment. And what we want to show you is the red deck as well, the energy deck. Because the red deck has a lot of direct damage spells that can destroy creatures outright, and a lot of cheap walls, and a lot of structures actually. The deck is quite focused around structures as a strategy, more so than the blue or green decks, who use walls as a sort of necessary evil rather than an actual part of their game plan.
Yeah, the red deck's more like how do you pronounce that? Machinations? Mechanicians?
Yeah, it's machine priests.
Mechanic-y things.
Always McGubbins.
Yeah.
Lots of crazy contraptions.
We'll leave it for there now, and thanks for watching, guys. We'll get back to you with another video sometime soon. Cheers!